That is the one thing. I generally am very positive about Chinese transportation.
Yeah.
The one thing that is more of a negative, there's so many scooters, is that especially when we have the positive, say, the really robust delivery network, the food delivery network, is that there's so many scooters buzzing around. It can be rather dangerous if you don't pay attention.
And they're everywhere. They're on the sidewalk and they're on the car, on the roads. So you need to like watch out.
Traffic in China still is much better than it was when I was first here 20 years ago, but it's still more hectic in many ways than you might see in Western countries, but it's simply something you have to take in stride, be aware of. But it's not really a big issue, I'd say. See, there we go, you gotta be careful. They're bringing someone their food, and you don't want to get in their way.
Have you obtained any Chinese habits? I'm sure you have, like living for 14 years in China.
Now we use the kind of the filler words in Chinese, which I can't really say because I might get canceled on social media, because you know how you say that. What you say in Chinese is basically ne and then ge.
Okay.
And you literally just say that when you're trying to think of something, but there was a college professor in the USA or somewhere who was trying to explain that, and he got canceled because people thought he was saying the N-word. But there's plenty of kind of Chinese filler words that maybe you get stuck in your head. So that's one thing. There's the always using two fingers to tap the table whenever someone pours tea for you. That's a very common courtesy that just kind of it's just drilled into you, and so you just do it automatically.
Wow. What's your feelings now when you go to the US, when you come to the US? Like how you see the country? You probably see it differently versus.
Well, one, it's still weird to me that we use paper money in the USA, because I cannot. In fact, the only time I ever actually see paper money in China is when we're going to a family dinner or some special occasion. We have to give them the red envelopes. We just went to a relative of my wife had their marriage celebration, and we gave them some $100 notes, as you do. But yeah, everything is online now, and so it still feels weird that there's still paper money in the USA. That's one thing that's always weird. As you can see, it's very easy. No cash.
Ali?
And in some places, you can just use your hand to pay.
The gesture.
Yeah, you literally just put your hand there, and it reads your palm, and you can pay.
Through the fingerprint or
palm prints.
Palm prints. Wow.
And one of the things you see, or that you notice when you go over to the USA, or at least I do, is how insular things are. Whereas here, things are very international. Even in Shenzhen, you're talking with people from all these different countries, but you really feel that, at least I feel when I'm in the USA, that people don't really realize how much the rest of the world is developing. It's very much just, US only, at least in some areas. I'm sure there are some areas that are very international, but when I talk to regular people, it doesn't really feel like there's that knowledge or that feeling that the rest of the world is really perhaps outpacing them.
As a foreigner, what you don't want to do in China? Like something no.
Can I say bad words on your channel?
Sure.
Don't be an asshole is the key thing. One of the things that really ticks off the locals the most, let me preface that by saying, you know how we've had a lot of issues with hate and violence against Asians, Asian Americans, Chinese Americans in the USA. Whereas people see, I don't like this country, therefore I'm going to take my anger out on people who I even think are from that country. That doesn't happen here. I mean, people maybe are unhappy with the anti-China policies of the USA, but I've never really seen them take them out on Americans. I've never been targeted because I'm an American. Obviously, there have been some situations against Japanese, so that is a very special case in terms of the history of China. But overall, I would say that I feel that China is much better in this respect. They're much more welcoming, though at the same time, there are expats who will take advantage of that, and they will think that, Chinese are too timid, they won't fight back, I can do whatever I want. But at the same time, if you're looking to manage a business in China, you're going to have Chinese employees, and maybe they don't speak Chinese, the expats. They don't talk to their employees that much. But I hear all the stories from my friends, my contacts, and there are many Chinese who are very annoyed about the very massive imbalance between compensations, like especially if they get tens of thousands of RMB a month just to send their kids to a flashy international school, even if the Chinese employees are the ones doing most of the work, or at least the heavy lifting on the ground. And then, of course, yes, you are a guest here in China if you come, but don't be an asshole about it. There's the saying in Chinese, 礼尚往来. I forget what it means exactly in English, but it's all about reciprocity. Whereas, if someone, the golden rule, if someone acts well to you, you should act well to them. You shouldn't take advantage of their kindness, especially if you have more economic power by being paid more by the home office.
That's pretty universal advice. Don't be asshole, especially if you come to
but we don't always necessarily see it followed. So, and especially when people are, and to be honest, it is a big cultural gap if you haven't experienced it before. And when people are in the midst of a culture that is strange to them, that is making them feel uncomfortable, it's easier to be an asshole, even if by accident. And so, therefore, if someone's going to be an expat here, they're going to come either for short-term or long-term, they need to be able to take a few deep breaths if they're feeling uncomfortable and try and respond with the same respect they're being shown by their local hosts.